What do you do when you're 53 and you decide to retire? That's what I'm going through right now. I am only 2 weeks away from my final day of work, hopefully in my life. And I got mixed feelings, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Retirement. Well, first off, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a long time, about 1.5 years, maybe more, since I posted anything on here since my last Colorado Trail thru hike video. And to be honest with you, I just hadn't felt like recording. I actually went up to Maine last August, end of August, and actually climbed Katahdin again. Stood atop the sign, saw some thru hikers that I've been following on YouTube summit that day. That was kind of cool. And yeah, it was cool to be back up in Maine. But not worth posting video. And you know, I still have people, I still read the comments from my last Colorado Trail thru hike vlog. And that one was, you know, I said, I think 2 or 3 sentences on the first video, and then there wasn't another word said. It was just a video montage of my experience. And you know, the reviews were mixed in the comments. I had people saying, man, this was cool, but I really miss hearing you talk. And then I had others who said, this is a cool format, I really enjoyed this. And I appreciate all those comments. You just have to understand, as a human, like, I'm evolving. How my thoughts about the world are evolving. What my brain's doing, my mind's doing when I'm walking on trail has been evolving ever since the AT hike back in 2017. And to be honest with you, my mind's a lot more quiet now. And I got a lot more quiet on that first Colorado Trail thru hike, and then when I went out the next year, yeah, I was at peace, and I was just surrounded by the beauty. And doesn't mean I didn't have hard mental days. I mean, it doesn't mean that you know, my ego wasn't flaring up and I had all these crazy, my feet hurt thoughts all day. But in the end, my brain or my mind's really quiet these days, and I really enjoyed the Colorado Trail. Hell, I might go do it again next year. But I also really enjoy hiking when my mind isn't going crazy. And I don't know where I'm gonna go as I move into retirement. I want to spend a lot more time here. We got some, you know, we're getting older and we got some physical ailments we got to get fixed, probably with surgery. Not necessarily me, but more Mrs. ER. But it's time to let the military side of me go. I owe such a debt of gratitude in my life that I had those experiences. They honestly saved me. Like, I went in the Marine Corps in 1989, deployed to Desert Shield, Desert Storm. Got out of the Marine Corps in 1993, and honestly had no prospects for anything in the future. I was working under the table doing construction, drawing unemployment. I worked as a termite technician. Yeah, I was going nowhere. Partying, having a good time, and woke up one day and was like, holy cow, man, this civilian thing is hard. And I went and found a way back in the military. Tried to get back in the Marine Corps. That was harder than I expected, to get back into Marine reconnaissance. And then we had heard about Air Force Special Operations, you know, and I found out about it from our gunny sergeant, to be honest with you, in the Marine Corps before we got out. He actually brought a pamphlet in and showed us here's some opportunities in the Air Force since you guys are getting out. If you wanna come back in, this might be the route. Laughed, scoffed at it, but still remembered it a year and a half later and actually went in the Air Force to be a combat controller. And that's what I did for 17 and a half years till I retired. Once I retired, I just kept working as a civilian federal employee at the same organization, very special unit here in North Carolina. And I've done that for 14 years. I was running the assessment and selection process for the unit as a civilian for our operators. I got to create the process that hired our operators into one of the most special units in the world. Man, what a ride. I had the freedom to kind of adjust things, to tweak things as I learned and as I got more educated on it. And I really loved it. My job was also to go out and recruit other combat controllers, pararescuemen, special reconnaissance guys, TACPs. I know all these acronyms probably don't mean much to most of you, but it was a cool freaking job. And I was at that special unit since 1997, minus 2 years that I went and taught at the Air Force Senior NCO Academy. So 25 total years I have at that unit. That is exactly half of my lifetime I've spent inside that organization. Went to war 8 times. I deployed at that organization after the wars kicked off in 2001 and then 2003 for Iraq. Yeah, what a special life. But I'll be honest with you, it's just time to let it go. Like, it's weird. Your identity gets so wrapped up in that you forget who you are sometimes. And I had some awakenings, again, over a decade ago, more than that, almost 15 years ago, to where I started realizing how bad my ego was. And if you read any of my books or watched my Appalachian Trail through hike in 2017, you know what I'm talking about. I struggled with the ego. I struggled with the human that I had created. And most of it was tied to this job. And as I moved into the civilian realm in 2010, once I retired out of the military but stayed at the unit, then I was walking this fine line of still in the environment where the ego existed for so long. Everybody knew me as that person. And it was hard as I changed. It was hard for other people to see me as a changed person. And that's a struggle with improvement, right? People who knew you as the old you, their brains just don't switch. Like, you are always the old you to them. And if you are behaving differently, then that's just a facade to most of them. So as I was getting really good at being the assessment and selection guy for some of the world's most special operators, I was also evolving as a human. Part of that job is watching behavior and creating events and environments to where their natural behavior can manifest. So you and the team of evaluators that are watching them can see, hopefully, how they're going to respond in similar type stressful situations. And as I studied human behavior, and as my mindset evolved around what we should be doing with that process, it also evolved me. Yeah, and I've dedicated every morning. I get up early. Like, I gotta stop that. I I gotta start going to bed a little bit later and waking up a little bit later in my new retired life, whatever that means. But I get up early, I make coffee, I meditate for at least 20 minutes. Then I read something to make me better. It's always been nonfiction, like self-help books, or, always something to do with getting myself better, reading research. Lately, though, kind of transitioned into reading a lot of fiction, just because I like to write, and fiction writers are just creative people, and I love seeing how they tell a story. So I've kind of, shifted into part nonfiction in the mornings and then part fiction. And then I read a lot of philosophy, and I listen to a lot of philosophy. And also in that morning time, especially when I meditate and right after my meditation, my creativity goes off the charts. And I think that's what people are missing in their life. This is what I tell all the operators that I can get a hold of at our unit. If you're not meditating, you are giving up a huge performance hack. And I hate to say the word hack because it's not a hack, it's just the way it is. But our operators are charged with solving wicked complex problems. And that takes being creative. But there's nothing in the military environment that teaches you how to be creative or shows you how to be creative. Meditation has done that. Meditation helps you let go of all the mental noise that you latch onto. Thoughts about the future, or thoughts about what's coming up next at work, or meditation's about just sitting there and being still and letting all that pass by. And when you get enough reps at it, you would be amazed at what thoughts bubble to the surface. Hiking is much the same way. There are many times of the day where you get into a meditative state, not even on purpose, and your mind's free to be creative, or free to just be still and enjoy the moment. And I promise you, if you are a long distance hiker watching this, you know what I'm talking about. But for me, and I think for many others, it takes a while. It takes many days on trail to find that space, that mental stillness. And it isn't there all the time, don't get me wrong. These are just moments of the day. Most of the other moments are filled with mental chaos, just the radio station that there is no knob for you to reach in and turn down. Just chatter all day long. But when you get tired to a certain point on trail during the day, that frontal cortex goes offline because you're too tired, then you're just there. But the secret is, and as I move into retirement, I want to be in that space more. And I'm getting there. I'm already to, just in almost any given moment, let go of everything inside my mind and just be still. But I couldn't do that as I keep driving through the compound gate every day doing my job. Because every time I drive in there, my ego is still inside that fence line. I'm still too invested in that place. And it's going to kill me to not be a part of it. But I need this. I need to not be a part of it. let all that go. I need to be a better family man. I just need to be still. I think there comes a time in your life, most of us, where you realize all that noise that you've been dealing with doesn't mean anything. And what you've been looking for your whole life, you've had it all along. You just couldn't see it. You just couldn't feel it. You couldn't be it. Because you were letting the character, your ego's character, rule the day. And it created this mental chaos that you deal with from the second your eyes open to the last second that they fall asleep at night. The story continues. What I'm going to do now is continue to let that story go and find the stillness. Now, what does the future look like? I think there's going to be some hiking involved. I don't know what yet. You know, Florida Trail, do some of the AT again, if not the whole AT. And maybe start working out west at some point and thinking about the CDT or the PCT. But all those things I really don't care about right now. Because I don't want to do them as the ego of early riser or any of that nonsense. I want to be able to step on trail, and no matter what's going on, no matter if it's raining, snowing, cold, my feet hurt, I got blisters, it's humid, there's bugs. I want to be able to let all that go and just be still. I achieved much of that on the Colorado Trail the last time. And I want to keep building on that. So retiring at 53. Scary. But necessary. Unless I just want to stay, entrapped in the military ego tray that it's always playing a role, playing a character every time I go into the compound. What does the future look like? I don't know. Hopefully I'll still push record and come on here and give you some of my thoughts. Hopefully some of this is relatable to you. But let me just nudge you. That if your whole life is nothing but waking up stressed about bills and going in and making just enough to pay the bills or not even that, it's time to take a step back and figure out how do you just be still. Alright y'all, I don't know where this channel is going to go. But again, I think I'm just going to come on here and push record every now and then and just speak my mind. If you know anybody that this could help, please share it with them. And if you're just finding this channel for the first time and you want to like and subscribe, I would love it. If not, it's okay. Come back anyway. Alright y'all. I hope you and yours have a wonderful holiday season. And we'll see you again soon. Deuces.